This is Redbeard's Rides in the Garage today. So this is a 2016 Ford Explorer 4-wheel drive. F-O-R-D. So you can tell it sets lower in the front, like almost every vehicle, than the rear. It's 1.25 inches difference. So they make a couple different leveling kits. You can get a 2-inch, which actually puts your front uphill, which I don't know why you would want that. And then you can buy a lift kit as well as a 1.25 leveling kit. So I went with just the basic 1.25 leveling kit because these are 18-inch wheels, and these are actually hubcaps over top of the aluminum wheels. So you can hear that. It's extremely annoying. We bought these hubcaps because we didn't like the silver wheels, and they was like 80 bucks. It looks good, but they rattle like crazy. I put 3M tape behind them and trying to quieten them down did not work. So I got her some 20s. She's been asking for them for a while because she hates these rattling wheels. When you hit bumps, it's super annoying. It just rattles. We're going to do the leveling kit on the front of this just like we did on my truck. So we can fit 31-inch tires. We're going to do all terrains on this thing. Because it being 4-wheel drive, it needs to look like a 4-wheel drive.
First things first, leveling kit.
Yeah, so we got to jack it up and pull the wheels off and start the process. We're only going to film one side, so we're going to do one side off camera, film the next side. That's what you do.
Film the side that we know what we're doing on.
Yeah, okay. So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get you a good jack, find a good jacking point, and jack your ride. And she needs tires extremely bad. She's actually been driving my truck because of these tires. And we will need to get an alignment after we do this leveling kit. So before we start this, I'm going to go ahead and test fit one of her wheels so we can see what it's going to look like. Looks sick. It pokes a little bit. These cars, the newer cars, are getting big old wide hips just like us Americans. And I mean, it's not crazy in there. The biggest thing is if we have a problem, this is what I'm worried about with the 31, is hitting the height of this shock. Now, this doesn't move closer to the tire or nothing. So if our tire's here, we're fine. It's not like, you know, this is what's compressing. So this is moving with everything. So I think we're going to be fine with a 31-ish inch tire.
We've disputed wheels for months.
It's been the worst. So it's a perfect time to shout out today's sponsor of the video, which is Blaster. Blaster's been in the game since 1957. We've been using this ever since I was a little children in my dad's garage. We use it to break nuts loose. We're going to apply some right here to the CV axle. Also the bolts holding the lower control arm on, and our strut bar. This stuff works. It is the best penetrating catalyst on the market. It is amazing. And with their new Pro Straw, you can see I didn't make a mess, spray everything, because we don't want to get anything on our brake parts here. So you can control how much you want with these new Pro Straw, and also the flow control technology. I have it about halfway turned up, so you can see the fluid coming down the line, and I can slow it down even more. So you got to squeeze it a little bit harder. So it gives you more control, or if we just want to blast that puppy, you can. But make sure to check out all the Blaster products linked below the video. They have brake cleaner, they have white lithium grease, they have everything you need to get the job done. Blaster is an amazing product. We've been using it here in the garage ever since we started this YouTube channel. So thank you, Blaster, for helping me not bust my knuckles. So we first need to take off the nut on this CV axle, and it is a 1 1/4 socket. We're going to see if the old Milwaukee fuel will do this. This is a 12-volt impact. Woo! Bless her heart, she can't do it.
Don't hurt yourself now. Can't do it.
So we're gonna break it apart, break it loose with the good old wrist action. Now that is just a 12 volt, so we're not gonna hate on it too much.
I hear your back cracking.
Well, Mama didn't raise no back. Or did she? Now I'm losing a lot of power in this impact by using an adapter to the socket. But I don't have a 3/4 inch impact, nor am I going to buy one because I never use that size hardly until I do stuff like this. Now that we have that CV nut off, we can pop off our ABS line. We don't want this to get pulled on, so I'm using a flathead to pop that out. Then it's got a little clip down here. Okay. Just set that aside, get that out of our way, because when we do let this lower control arm down, we don't want this, you know, still stuck there and pulling. So now we have the tie rod. This is what steers your car. We're going to take off this, and sometimes I can break it loose with the impact. Then you may have to put a 10 millimeter on this stud, and you can use a 13/16 wrench. And what you're doing is holding this stud from spinning freely, because this is a ball joint, so this has movement with the suspension. Hit that with a little PB. And it's best to spray this stuff with PB and let it soak for a little bit. But you know, we ain't got time for that. So we broke it loose. Get our 13/16 ratchet wrench. We can hold this still with a 10. Next, we're going to take the sway bar off. This basically helps your suspension not float like crazy at high speeds. It stabilizes it. These are not good for off-roading, but this is a grocery getter, so. Same thing, we get it broke loose with the impact, and then we can put our ratchet on it. And what I do is let it rotate up. This wrench will hold itself. This is a 13/16 as well, and that is a 10 millimeter on the end. So now we have our tie rod out. We can pull it and drop it and get it out of our way. This one's a little bit more tricky. I find it's easier to wait until you get the lower control arm unbolted. So we're going to use a 15/16 socket on the nut. We're going to hold the bolt still with a 13/16 wrench. And there's the bottom. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to get you a good old ball peen hammer, and you're going to hit that. Oh. So these have these splines on them that kind of bite and hold it in place so they don't spin. So you will have to knock these out with a hammer. Do not hit your ABS line. And once you take this loose, you have the nut off your CV axle, and it's going to slowly pull out there. Now we have this whole thing loose. Now your CV can keep this in. You don't necessarily have to take the nut all the way off. You can leave your CV nut on just a little bit so the whole spindle doesn't come off. Just make sure you're not pulling on anything, brake lines. It's not good for it. Now we can take the 4 15 millimeter nuts off the top, and we can slide this whole coil spring setup off and start putting our lift kit on it. So you got 4 nuts right here. The back one's kind of hidden behind this strut tower brace, and what this strut tower brace does is give the front end of your car rigidity, so when you go around the curve your body's not flexing. It stiffens up the chassis a lot. We used to put them bad boys on Civics because we was fast. Now groceries getter got them. Shoot. This one back here is extremely hard to get to, so I start with it because when you get to the last nut on these, the coil setup is going to start falling down, so just be aware of that.
So as you can see, I just took all the bolts off the studs. Well. I did one.
Alright, now we have the sway bar still attached, so we need to pop that out, slide the coil spring set up right out. So now what we have to do is we have to cut 1/4 of an inch off each one of these studs so we can clear the nuts when we sandwich our plate on our lift plate. Since this is just the leveling kit, this is 1.25 inches. So what it's done is it's dropping this 1.25 inches. This kit I like a lot. This company thought everything out really well. It's a really good company. I would use their lifts again. But they also give you a drop bracket for this sway bar, because if they didn't, then your sway bar would be in a super big bind and it probably wouldn't even work. So they do give you a drop bracket for this. We'll show it installed in a little bit. So let's get this adapted. So this kit consists of the coil spring spacer, which is basically just a lift for your coil spring. It also comes with the nuts and lock washers you need for that. And it also comes with a bracket to raise up the location of your sway bar so that don't get in the bind, and a bolt washer and lock washer and nut for that. So pretty simple kit. Now that we have this coilover off, we can trim these studs. We got to cut 1/4 of an inch off each one of them, and the reason why we have to do that is because this being an 1.25 inch lift kit, there's not enough room for the original bolts and stuff. So if we was to slide this puppy on here, you can see the bolt ends would hit. So we got to trim 1/4 inch off those, and then we can slide this on and use the original nuts that came off the Explorer to bolt this onto the coil spring. I'm gonna bevel those edges, get any burrs off. Super handy little tool. Braxton got me this for Christmas. What'd you get me? Okay, now we can take the 4 original nuts off of the car. Make sure they're going to thread first. Beautiful. So you can see this has a little V cut in it, a little notch. And this coil spring, if you spin it around, it has a little dimple in it as well. So we got to match those up just like so. So Redbeard was curious of how we get the nuts on. Like this. We're just going to get them just on like one thread. Just slide them puppies in there. The last one's always a pain, but we got that one
Pretty easily, actually.
and you kind of got to tighten them all together until it hits the nylon part of the lock nut. And snug them once we get these down where we need to really torque them down. The best way I found is take a pry bar and lock in these studs. Have someone hold that for you while you crank down on them. I get these torque spec to really tight. It'd be cool if they came up with a way to make this a 2-piece. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't think there is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So,
Good will hunting.
So I have our top hat on there, our little spacer. So now I'm going to feed it up. Lonnie's going to start the nuts and washers on there, but we're not going to tighten them down. We're going to leave it loose so we can get everything bolted up.
Loosey goosey. I'll do it from the top.
That's doing nothing. Okay, there you go. Yep.
Now that we have that done, we can get our lower control arm slid in there. We can put our bolts back in. There's 2. And pop our ABS wire back in there. And that's in. Now we have this bracket here that they send you. You see how it has this lip. Well, this is going to slide onto that, and then bolt on right there. So this is going to keep this from moving any. It can't twist, it can't move up and down. So once we put the new bolt that comes with it, the washer on the bolt, slide it in from the back side. This is kind of a pain to get in there. Okay, there we can put the lock washer on, and the nut. Go ahead and put our sway bar nut back on. It's kind of a pain getting it past. Right there. I'm going to use our 10 to hold this still and put a ratchet wrench on there. Go ahead and tighten this up. So I'm going to tighten this down by hand and torque it down to spec. The last thing we have to do is this tie rod in. Need to just move, knuckle down until it goes all the way up in there. Then we can use the 10 and the 13/16 again. First I'm going to zip it down a little bit with an impact until, that one did all the way. And you have successfully installed a leveling kit. It's that easy, super easy. We are done. Now you could re-torque all these, make sure everything's torqued to the factory specifications. Once we got everything tightened up down there, we can now go ahead and fully tighten up our nuts underneath the hood. And we're just going to torque the far off of them. So we can now put the tire back on, torque the lug nuts down the spec, see what she looks like. Lift it. So we want to real quick announce that we're doing a 25 days of giveaway. We already gave the first prize away. By the time you're seeing this video, there'll be a handful of prizes given out. But we have tool sets, engines, engine parts, t-shirts. Every prize from December 1st to the 25th will be a really good prize. We're not giving like just a sticker pack or something. Everything we ship out, we're going to send one of our ultimate sticker packs with. So make sure you comment on any social media post or video from December 1st on to the December 25th, because we're randomly selecting commenters to win awesome prizes. Like I said, engines, engine parts, all types of good stuff. We got a lot of people from Blaster, Benchmark Abrasives, Performance 670, Vegas Carts, Go Power Sports, 1740 Beer Bomb, ourselves. We got a lot of stuff coming that you can win. The first winner on the December 1st won a 3/8 Craftsman socket set that came with a 72 tooth ratchet. It's like the perfect little go-kart set. So make sure to comment on our stuff and get randomly selected to win some good stuff, some goodies. No purchase necessary, by the way. It's just comment on any social media posts from Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. And you have to be in America. We can't ship outside America. And
Continental America.
Continental, like continental breakfast. Those are nice.
That's classy. If you go to a hotel and they ain't gonna offer you free pancakes,
what are you doing? We only go to hotels to get pancakes.
we go on trips just
We pay $150 a night to get free pancakes. And you have 5 days to claim your prize. So make sure you check your YouTube messages, go back and read your YouTube comments. And it doesn't help for you to comment 15 times, because the randomizer that we're doing takes out multiple comments. So if you comment 16 times, it's going to take out all of them but one. So it's only going to give you one chance. So don't try to be no sly, greedy guy. So thank you guys. See you back to putting this lift on. All right, moment of truth.
It was a lot different with the wheels and tires, for sure.
Oh yeah, but I can tell it's up a lot. I mean, because it was, of course, an inch and a half lower.
Inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter.
Quit.
Oh, ooh. Ooh.
Whoops.
Got the leveling kit all installed, and we had the wheels put on the next day, and it looks freaking sick. I didn't know about those wheels when we unboxed them, but I think it looks pretty good on there. Went with a 275/55, which is a 31.5, and it does a little bit of rubbing, but we're going to trim some things. But that was the biggest tire you can possibly fit with just a leveling kit. I'm sure you could go up to a full 32 with the lift, but it lifted up quite a bit, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. I need step bars now.
Whew. The list goes on. We'll do a stick-on hood scoop, the stick-on fender vents, the turbo logos.
No turbo though.
No turbo, no. We'll do them turbo whistlers you put in your muffler and it just... But yeah, it looks sick. Guys, massive shout out to Blaster for sponsoring today's video. They are an amazing company to work with. We've been using their products before they ever got in touch with us, and we love it. We have their brake cleaner, their white lithium grease, their chain oil. They have everything you need to supply your shop to get work done easily and efficiently. So make sure to check out the links. We have all the products we've been using in our shop linked down below. Every single one of them works like they say they do. Amazing product, and we was able to get rid of all the other stuff and only run Blaster, and it is awesome. So support your boy, support the companies that helping these videos come out. Big shout out to Blaster. We love them and are going to use them for life. Been using them since I was cheering. But let me know what you think about the Explorer. There was no detailed videos about putting this lift on, leveling kit or whatever, but really simple process. If you have a select amount of hand tools, you can get this job done, and really easy, way easier than my F-150 was, and I think it looks real good. I can show you guys, if anybody's interested that has an Explorer, if you guys want to see what I had to trim, I can film when we pull the tires off and trim. It's just a piece of plastic. You do have to bend a pinch weld over, but it's nothing that crazy. I think it looks amazing, the size wheels and tires. Like I said, it's 275/55 R20, so it's right around the 31.5. And that's the biggest tire I would want to put on it anyways. It looks amazing. It's all tucked and looks great, and Miss Redbeard loves it. So be sure to give this video a like, comment down below. We are giving away a ton of stuff this month, so get entered to win by commenting. Thank you so much, guys. Check out those links in the video description, and we'll see you on the next one. We're out, and God bless.